everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. And today is Thursday. Johnny Litecoin's with us. And I have just been seeing October 1st, October 1st, October 1st everywhere. I've been trying to share it as much as I can on the Telegram group. But I want to run it all past Johnny, see what he thinks. Is he seeing anything in his industry? He's in the payments industry. And see what he thinks about all this. So I'm going to do a little woo-woo on you guys tonight. We'll be right back with Johnny Litecoin right after this. Give us a like and share the video. How are you doing, Johnny? Oh, did you freeze? You are frozen and you are on mute. So I don't know if you need to come back. I don't know what just happened. We were just chatting. Everything was fine. Of course, we were like breaking down a bunch of like really good, juicy stuff. Oh, he's back. He's back. Let me see if I close some stuff on.
I was just going to say that because you said, am I seeing anything? And I was going to say, we've had really bad internet that I've been noticing, and things won't load. And even on YouTube, I noticed most days when I go to look at the app, I can't see the videos. It'll give the description, but I can't see like the image or nothing. And so then I was like, well, the internet's working fine today. But then as you came back on,
and right as we came on. So there have been a lot of hacks lately. Just this week, there was a big Chinese hack on the White House through a lot of the staffers' dating apps and stuff. I don't know if that's a cover for, we've always joked around or talked about, oh, when they take down the system or need to transition us to the CBDC, they're going to say there's a hack. And then, oh, don't worry, here's your new Fed app and we can make you whole. Don't, everything will be fine. My friend who is on the Fed board to create the new digital dollar or whatever, got an invitation to the White House recently. And so I don't know if that's kind of hinting at, it's coming soon. I believe she's part of the good guy team. I know she had concerns about like, we can't let it be something like what China has where they're tracking people and they don't have privacy. So I am hoping that it's a sign of good things to come. But there's so much out there right now. I was sharing, it's like right before we got started, I was sharing with Johnny, like just on the short list. Let me see. Okay. We've got Julian Assange. This is all October 1st, guys. Julian Assange to testify October 1st. Basel III at the banks, which is where they have to be like, I believe it's 1-to-1 with gold. I'm not really 100% sure. You might have more information on that than me. Congress to adjourn by October 1st, or actually, I believe it's September 29th or whatever the last day of September is. There are rumors of a port strike as of October 1st, which if that stopped, then that stops the oil and gas, and that can be like a big domino effect of, a huge crisis for a lot of things. Also, that is the kickoff of Golden Week in China, where they take like the whole week off, the 1st through the 7th, and they visit family and nobody works and whatever. And China's already anticipating a slowdown in their economy. And so they're trying to stimulate their economy and offering like subsidies, kind of like the COVID bonuses that went out. They're giving handouts to the poor in a rare use of aid. There's also
China, Lisa. China had that whole Evergrande thing earlier this year, and that kind of got blown. But a lot of people were like, that's a big thing. That's a massive.
And all those commercial the banks that have to, so that it's the end of the quarter, but it's the end of the fiscal year, and the banks have all that unrealized loss has to come up on their books end of September. So all of that is being realized end of September. Like all of this is coming to fruition the end of September. Um, what were some of I mean, I was just seeing this over and over. Then I start hearing all this tea stuff. I don't know if you guys are hearing Trump was having tea the other day. Trump was sipping tea. Then I see this other guy's having tea. Somebody was having tea with the mayor. I'm like, what is this tea stuff? Well, that sounds like a lot of tax. We have a famous tea party here in America.
Sure.
And, traditionally people, or a lot of people will delay their taxes in April to pay them in
In
October
October, you file an
15th.
extension. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And so if this all goes down the end of September because we have a tea party of some kind, um, and then that doesn't happen,
But
I don't.
yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, that's how the U.S. was, that was started the revolution, right? That we were revolting against the tax on tea. And look to where I guess the joke is look to where we came, that we revolted originally about a tax on tea, and now we have taxes on everything. And people are like, that's your right, or that's your patriotic duty to pay all those taxes. And it's like, well, wait a second. We were founded on revolting against a tax on tea. We're not
Right,
supposed to be taxed like this. What
right. The
gives here?
irony of all of
The
that.
irony of it all. But Lisa, I wanted to say something. You said the hacks before.
Mhm.
I think most of these hacks are legit. I've been noticing it for the past couple of years that our systems seem to be being hacked a lot. Now, what I've seen on my end is they never admit to this stuff. In other words, these companies, company I deal with, I had a major issue with, without trying to give too much detail, with a certain product that they offer.
Right.
And they kept giving us the runaround, the runaround, the runaround. And I finally got somebody on the phone that was kind of a beginner. And like an attorney, I cross-examined her, asked her the same questions 5 different ways. And she actually admitted to me what happened. And they went, she goes, I'm not supposed to tell you that. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, thank you. I at least know the answer now. I've been
Mhm.
driving myself nuts, tickets opened, people that are pissed. I said, oh, because I can't get a straight answer. You told me the answer, which I thought it was. Because, yeah, but I was not supposed to tell you that. We're not supposed to tell you that. I said, but that's the answer. So it told me, I said, well, these people are instructed, never tell you the actual truth. Never tell you the actual truth. So a lot of these, a lot of the disruption, though, besides from hacks, a lot of the data centers are getting fried because there's such overload on these data centers. And that's also why a lot of software and apps and certain things sometimes go down. It's because there's such overload on the data center. And like a data center is not like turning on the lights in your house where you just turn them back on. You have to get like electrical contractors in there, and it takes hours to turn all the power back on in a data center. So it's
Because they have to restructure it all or
yeah, or just
reprogram
I
it?
guess you'll just blow the grid if you turn on all the power at once. You know what
Oh,
I mean? I think it more comes down to that. So when it goes down or goes offline, it takes a while to come back online. So, but I think a lot of the hacks are legit. I just noticed a lot of funny business, more mistakes than I've ever seen with software and glitches and things going missing and things not making sense. And I've seen big companies do billing errors, and these are massive, massive publicly traded companies. And when you have a billing error like that, now that goes on to your balance sheet as income. That it's a way to cook the books. And so I think a lot of that's going on where people always like, oh, Johnny, well, you're so into conspiracy. I said, yeah, but
He said, you should meet my friend.
explain to me how this stuff never happens. Then all this stuff keeps happening, and it's just, it just keeps being coincidence. I always say you have to look at the statistical likelihood of coincidences that keep happening. Now, a coincidence can occur, but then when another coincidence occurs in a short period of time, the statistical likelihood of that happening goes way down. Then when another one happens, it goes. Now you string together multiple coincidences, and it's like the chances of that all happening is like winning Powerball like 5 times in a row. It's like
Well, that's like all this October 1st stuff. I'm just like, okay, 1 or 2 things, okay, but
all
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then when I pulled up the thing, so I saw the thing about China. I think my mom or somebody sent it to me, and then it said Golden Week. It was called Golden Week, and then when I pulled it up, you know how that Google has their name on the top?
yeah.
He had a popcorn bag in it. I'm like, come on, man. You're just teasing me, like they're messing with me. And then, one more thing, then later today, I mean, it's like, if I dare look at my phone, Senate confirms new National Guard chief and other command leaders. And look, one of them's name is even Brunson, which was another announcement today, was supposedly that the Brunson brothers case was supposed to be announced today, that it went through, and that all of Congress is I don't know the right word, but they're, busted for not upholding or not looking into the vote. But here they have Javier Brunson to be head of U.S. Forces of Korea. But this is Air Force Lieutenant General Stephen Nordhaus as the next chief of the National Guard Bureau, filling the leadership role after a 2-month vacancy. So he is the new National Guard Bureau, which is interesting that he was Air Force and now he's going to National Guard. But there was that big transfer of power in the military when with Trump's last NDAA. So those are all to be sworn in new roles coming days.
Too many coincidences.
Too many coinencidences.
Too many coincidences for me. And then a Golden Week, it's look at the price of gold lately. It's
Yeah.
and then
Silver's going gained. I think Andy said silver gained like 5% in one day, yesterday or day before.
2 days ago, silver was up. Me and Greg were watching it, and we were like, it was up like $1.50, and Greg was like, I wonder if it could be up like $2. He's like, I don't ever remember seeing a $2 day in silver. And then we were talking about Bix was saying, I think Bix talks about this, Cliff High would say that you're going to see dollar days, then $5 days, and
Uncle Cliff said that we would have $1 days, then $2 days, and we would start seeing those together, and on and on. So
it is pretty bullish that silver hasn't really sold off. It's kind of held where it went to. So that maybe tells me that maybe they have lost control of the manipulation, or maybe it's so obvious that silver is being held down that they have to let it move up some. Like Bix talks about the solar panels a lot and things like that. And he's saying how much silver the solar industry is using. And I think by a certain thing coming up in a few years, the solar industry alone is going to use all the silver that's mined every year just for the solar industry. Forget electronic vehicle batteries, forget cell phones, forget computers, forget medications and how silver is consumed. So I think it's probably like, now it's almost getting obvious. So they have to probably let it run some, would be my guess.
Well, and don't they have like futures contracts where like yeah, the silver is mined, but somebody's already made a contract for that silver that's being mined out of the ground. So like it's ahead of itself. I
Well,
don't know.
when when you're on like CNBC or those channels, they'll show you like the November they'll show you the contract that's like 2 months in advance, and
The
then
future.
usually the price is higher on that contract. They're speculating that, especially if you're in more of a bull market or up market, um, they're speculating that the price will be higher. But I don't think we've seen anything yet because we're still in the 30s, and hey, it's early beginning of this year. Silver was what, $22 an ounce, so it's
Mhm.
obviously it's up. It's made a nice little move. You know what I mean? $22 to $32 is a nice jump higher, and that's probably close to 50% that it's up. That's pretty big.
It's pretty big. I wonder if this could be the Christmas, the $100,000 Bitcoin Christmas. I know my friend SL was posting that she got like a dream from her guides or whatever that she would see $69,000 Bitcoin. And the mom was saying Bitcoin's over 65K, which it needs to be by end of the month in order to explode
Yeah,
up.
Nana's right. I mean, I think we're in the most bullish September we've ever had, and usually historically September's the worst month on record for Bitcoin, and
Mm.
this is, I think, the best September Bitcoin's ever had. So it's interesting too when you hear Trump talk now. He says Bitcoin and then he says crypto. He uses both words.
He does. And he, I guess, paid for dinner the other night with Bitcoin. And then you were just saying, what were you saying about he was talking about maybe paying off some debt?
Paying off
Um,
the national, he's mentioned that a few times. Maybe he said one time, maybe we'll pay off the national debt with a little crypto check, he said. And then he's brought it up multiple times. But if you listen to him, the thing that I like the most about all this, he paid for a meal. I think it was a burger or whatever it was with Bitcoin. Now, that's a big move because a president's never made a purchase with the non-nationally recognized currency, right? So this is a really big move. But every time you hear him interviewed, he mentions that Bitcoin paying for things and crypto paying for things. And he said how he did his sneaker launch. A lot of people paid with crypto, and he said on Fox Business, he goes, it's a currency, so we
I
want
will be wearing my Trump sneakers at Westwood's, just so
we
everyone knows.
we want Bitcoin to be considered a currency. That's the most preferable treatment that we can get. I
Mm.
believe something's a currency and it's not subject to like capital gains tax and all that. It's just a currency. You're just spending a currency. You know what I mean? So that's what we want. Bitcoin maximalists are like, no, it's property, it's property, it's property. Well, that doesn't give you good treatment as far as tax goes. Being a currency does. So a lot of Bitcoin maximalists don't know what to do right now because Trump's saying the word crypto and Bitcoin, and they're always like, it's Bitcoin, not crypto, and they're with their psyop that they're running on all of us. So very interesting.
Did you see the Hester Pierce in Congress getting drilled by Congress, the SEC? And she admitted that they basically they were ambiguous on purpose and that they lacked clarity on keeping the tokens separate. And they specifically, the contracts were what made something a security, not the token. And she specifically said that
I
under oath.
I didn't hear her word for word. I know she was up there and got grilled a little bit, but I watched some clips of Gensler getting grilled, and I guess a guy from the Bronx that was like a congressman or something, brought up about Yankee tickets. He goes, "Is a Yankee ticket a security?" And Gensler laughed and said, "No, of course not." He goes, "Okay, then what about these Stoner Cats NFTs?" He said, "It's really the same thing." And he explained how it's the same thing. He goes, "Why is that a security?" And Gensler was like, didn't know how to answer it. So they're, don't get me started on them. They're the real enemy, the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the top enemies of the people. More so than the Federal Reserve. I think the SEC is way worse. The Federal Reserve is I don't like that system, but they're doing what they do. It's fiat currency. They issue money. They're actually doing what they say. Right? Now, I don't like the system. It's not American. I want constitutional money, but they're at least, if they're going to do quantitative easing, they do quantitative easing. If they're going to do quantitative tightening, they do quantitative tightening. If they lower the interest rate comes down. The SEC doesn't do anything that it says it's supposed to do. They haven't gave any clear guidelines. They went after the wrong people. They haven't said which cryptocurrencies are not securities. They should have at the very least said, look, here's the cryptos that aren't securities. We don't have any jurisdiction over them. So don't ask us about them and don't expect us to police them. At the very least, they could have said that and then passed the buck to the CFTC, which would be a lot better than being governed by the SEC. And you always said, why do we need someone to govern us? Oh, govern me harder, Daddy, kind of thing. And it's like, we're looking for this handler. So the SEC is one of the top worst three-letter agencies. I guess they're all bad, but they're definitely up there as far as candidate for being the worst.
I watched a video from a guy, I believe his name's Mike Benz, and he goes into this whole history where we originally had like the Department of War, and then not until the UN and the WHO and all that came into being did they change their name to be called the Department of Defense. And then there's the Department of State. It was like the Department of War, the Department of State, and something else. And then from that, all these charters and three-letter agencies came out of to do the dirty work and bidding of mainly the Department of State. And none of that should be done because they should be held back. They should just be, it was like one was for defending against foreign powers. One was for, it's supposed to be building roads and shit, infrastructure, and the other one was supposed to be doing like governing and doing will of the people stuff. Not all this lording over and spying on and governing the people. Like none of that was supposed to ever be being done. And that's what has happened, this weaponization of the government through all these three-letter agencies. Yeah. And it's like all of this just got flipped on its head. And they do these chartered agencies all got turned against we the people and weaponized against all of us. And we pay for it all.
We fund it all, and they've put this out there into the ether or whatever you want to say, that they basically say, oh, don't the federal government or the feds are going to get you, not the Federal Reserve. The feds are going to get you, and if they come get you, they got this kind of conviction rate. Don't even try to fight them. Just settle or plea it out. And then so a lot of people end up like going to prison because the feds came after them. They're innocent, and they're like, well, I'm going to take 7 years because I'm looking at 25 to life kind of thing. So I'll take the 7 years, I guess. That's what actually happened to Ross Ulbricht with the
Mhm.
with the Silk Road. They offered him 10 years. The poor kid was like, didn't think he deserved the 10 years, and he fought him. Then they made it, and then if you fight them, they get pissed. And that's why the judge gave him a double life sentence plus 40 years. And for
That's
all you
insane.
idiots out there that are protecting and saying, oh, Harris and these people, they're for they're for this and that. Let me tell you what, Chuck Schumer is the main reason that Ross Ulbricht went to prison. He had a vendetta against Bitcoin and that kid. So he's another enemy of the people. Don't think this
And
guy's.
Kamala, there are quotes out there that she's went and opined about how the power of the pen, that she never even needed a conviction to ruin someone's life. She could just accuse them by her position when she was DA or whatever her position was, and she could just accuse someone, and it was enough for them to destroy their reputation, cause thousands of dollars of debt, um, uh, make them lose their job, all of this by accusations with the power of her pen and how bold she was. Like,
Sure.
she's disgusting. I mean, you can call her a human if you want, but I wouldn't.
I mean, if you're employed and you get charged with a crime, your work's going to fire you. They're going to say, well, we don't want to deal with this. And you're like, well, I'm innocent until you're not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent. You're guilty before you even charged with anything. When I hate to always go back to it, look at the Patriot Act. We're all guilty.
Right.
We're all guilty. And that we're all guilty, and we have to prove our innocence. We have to prove we're Americans. We shouldn't have to prove anything. This is our freedom, our right. Why do we have to prove who we are, to use currency, to make a trade, to do this? So it's really got flipped upside down. Like you said, all this weaponization. And then if they charge you with something, well, then they seize your bank accounts. So unless you really know about sound money and hard currency, if you're like most normal people and they got their money in the bank and then they get charged with something, it's like, well, now they can't pay for a lawyer to defend themselves because they don't have access.
Well, that's what they did to Reggie. That's what that judge, she literally wouldn't, he went in and asked for relief or whatever to like take care of his house and his mother. And he had a niece who was like dying from cancer and he was trying to help the family and stuff. Then he couldn't even get relief to like take care of his own home and needs and family. Like these people are sick. They're just really sick.
Sick people. They really are.
It's disgusting, but we can change things. Get your possessions in your assets, hard assets in your own possession. Go watch the G. Edward Griffin interview that Andy Scheckman just did on his channel on the Miles Franklin YouTube channel.
All that I started watching it, Lisa. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. And get to Westwood's for the meetup. You can go to clintwestwood.net for all the information. There's information on Airbnbs and hotels, and we're going to do a big meetup there in Metamora, Illinois on the town square on October 4th, and we hope you guys will all be there. Yes, I will be wearing a cowboy hat that was donated by the one and only Thorand and purchased by the one and only Clint Westwood and donated to me. So yeah, we'll have a great time.
Amazing.
And yeah,
you guys are an amazing group of people, like-minded people, very open to newcomers and willing to give information. This is, our crew and group of people. We're the opposite of the Bitcoin maximalists that want to make everyone feel bad, like laugh at everybody. We're like welcoming Westwood. I mean, the poor guy's giving away more Litecoin than, my God, I mean, and it's like, and then we get crap from these Bitcoin maximalists. So wait a second, we've set up more wallets for people giving away more Litecoin than
No,
you can even remember, and we're the bad guys to these people, and they're
it's crazy. It's crazy. Johnny, we have a question. Will you be going to Westwoods?
I won't be, guys. You know, I'm have a
Really?
limited travel time right now because of my situation.
You have a
sound like
lot
I'm
going on right
arrest.
now.
I don't have an ankle monitor. I'm not on house arrest.
He does have a lot going on right now.
I wish I was going with you guys. I'll be there in spirit with you guys.
Yes. He'll jump in the live chat or something.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll definitely jump in the live chat for
Yeah.
sure.
We'll have a great time. Well, thank you for
I'm a
joining
wild
us.
man. Nice.
You are a wild man. We know
Very
it.
nice.
Well, everybody stay connected. Keep jumping in the live chats when we go live, and join my Patreon if you can to support the channel. I really appreciate that support and help. Get into the Telegram group, follow Johnny on Twitter. All the links are in the description below. Thank you to any of you that jumped by my Etsy and oh, that's the other thing. There's a bunch of like U.S. Marshals that just got reactivated recently, like a ton of them. That's the other big news. So thank you to all the retired U.S. Marshals that just went in active duty again. So everyone have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Later,
Stay
guys.
frosty, as they say.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.